Alright guys, here we are for a pretty raw video. This video is probably not going to have any edits at all, but I just need to get the information out there. It's like, what time is it? It's about 9 a.m. for me here in the Pacific US, and well, we got some news for Vanguard Zero JP. There's been 2 new nerfs to Wingal Brave and to Wyvern Strike Tejas. So if you guys don't know, the original skills for those cards are, let me go ahead and go to Royal Paladin. Wingal Brave, new skill set 4 card, by the way, was when this unit attack is boosted, hits, blast. When this unit attack is boosted, a blaster hits. So when it boosts a blaster and it hits, counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul to add a card with blaster in its card name from your deck to your hand. That was the old skill. The new skill is when this attack is boosted, a blaster hits, counterblast 2, and put this unit into your soul to add a grade 3 card with blaster in its name, in its card hand. In its card name from your deck to your hand. It's really, I literally, guys, just woke up like 30 minutes ago, so don't mind me being a slur of the mouth guy. But basically, the skill used to be that you can search for Blaster Blade, Blaster Dart, and Majesty Lord Blaster, which in set 4 is going to be your main grade 3, and you want to use it to achieve an awesome skill plus combo with the 3 cards that are blasters. However, the new skill lets you only search for MLB. You can no longer search for your grade 2 and your grade 2 blasters or Blaster Dark, and it's now Counterblast 2, so it effectively only really works on the 3rd turn, which, if you don't have your grade 3 by then, you may as well just, like, not even use this card. So this card becomes a lot less useful. That's actually, like, a big nerf, and it's effective June 1st, by the way. And the second nerf was to Wyvern Strike Tejas. Now, its regular skill use, this card already exists, by the way, in the English meta, in case you guys didn't know. Vanguard, Rearguard, this unit can attack a unit in the back row opposite it. Now it's just Rearguard, this unit can attack a unit in the back row opposite it. So now instead of being able to snipe any starter that you want to with this card, you can only snipe starters on the Rearguard circles or grade 1s in the Rearguard circles. If your opponent puts a starter behind the Vanguard, they are safe. However, there are ways around this, and then you have Berserk Dragon, which can still hunt them down. That's super cool as well. So let's go ahead and just talk about the initial thoughts. First of all, let's talk about like why Bushiroad / Game Studio did this. So they've been monitoring all the rank fights and all the championship series qualifiers and all the tournaments and stuff for like the past 3 months, and literally MLB and Dota have dominated like all 3 months, specifically MLB, which is why I think MLB got the harder nerf, the harsher nerf. And a big thing about this, like I think in their eyes, is like they're trying to balance the meta because they either want to allow more decks to prosper that are forcing to play suboptimally because of MLB, which if you guys don't know what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, basically decks would literally not attack MLB for like the first 2 turns of the game because they did not want to give them Wingal Brave and always have that Majesty Lord Blaster. They'd rather just like sit there and achieve whatever they want, attack rear guards or do whatever they needed to do before then, so that way they could be either ready for MLB to come out, or they could possibly delay MLB, because without Wingal Brave going off, the deck has no way to guarantee an MLB or guarantee a grade 2 combo that they need. Like they need 3 cards of this combo to achieve that on your first grade 3 turn of the game without any counterblast. It's pretty interesting. And it's pretty difficult. So that's kind of like the strategy, but that forces a lot of decks to just kind of sit there and not really do anything for a couple turns, which loses out on advantage and loses out on pressure. So that's a big thing that I think Bushiroad wanted to stop people doing. And another thing was that they wanted to kind of allow other decks to prosper, because MLB is kind of like the scourge of a Limit Break meta, because MLB can force your opponent to stay at 3, or if your opponent is at 4, they can just constantly hit them and deny them counterblast. So it's a really interesting kind of balance between the two. I'm actually interested to see if Perfect Razor sees a lot more play now, because Perfect Razor is basically diet MLB, but it's way more consistent now than MLB is, so you never know. I shouldn't say way more. It's a little bit more consistent now than MLB is. I wouldn't say that MLB got like a gigantic shaft, like it's unplayable now. That's not true. You can always just play like more copies of Starcall Trumpeter or more copies of Lian and just like try and be like a filter type deck and be a bit, you know, more resource management kind of mind, have like a more resource management kind of mindset. And then the reason why Dote got like the nerf, or Kagero got the nerf, is kind of the same reasoning, because Dote basically just gets rid of starters. It just gets rid of anything in the back row like whenever you want, which can really limit people's ability to play cards, because if you're not playing a starter that either goes off really early and your opponent gives you an early damage, if they're stupid, then you can get up your skills. But if you don't have if you have like a late game starter like Spring Breeze Messenger, for example, and you can't use it on turn 1 of the game, they can just snipe it on turn 2 with Wyvern Strike Tejas, regardless of whether or not you give them Counterblast. So Kagero would sometimes just like halt their attacking so they could purposefully get rid of a really powerful boosting rearguard, because if you guys didn't know, first Vanguards or grade zeros are actually really potent and powerful for strategies because they either create consistency or they create pressure / advantage. And so limiting those, basically getting rid of free cards you get at the start of the game, is kind of really strong. So the nerf to Tejas, while I don't think it was as justified as the Wingal Brave one, I do think makes sense, and I could see how they're wanting to like maybe allow something more to come in the future. Now, in terms of what this means for the English meta, it really means 3 things. It means the first one is we might not get these nerfs, right? So, like, we might not even get these nerfs at all. Whenever set 4 comes out for us, it just might not happen at first. You know, there's always that possibility. And I do see that being very likely because Bushiroad loves MLB and Bushiroad loves Dote, and they know that we love Dote. So I don't think that they're going to nerf the deck on day 1 like they did with Amber Dragons, because the decks aren't oppressive. They're just... They just lasted a long time. The problem was that they lasted 3 months when maybe Bushiroad only really wanted them to last 2 months, but people just kept playing them because they're still good. So they wanted to, this kind of behavior incentivizes players to switch decks and play something else, which I think they want to do for when the new stuff comes out in set 8, I think for them in June as well, which is why this is effective for June 1st, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. They basically want to try and make sure that people play other stuff, because they don't want people just to be stuck playing the same 2 decks for month after month after month after month. They want to have diverse and balanced metas. The second thing, here's what this means, is that we might get a good thing that comes out of this, is that we probably get set 4 in June 1st. In English, before this, we had no real official announcements to go off of that like allowed us to predict this other than what happened in JP. So with this, we have like a concrete like, hey, if we do get Wingal Brave on June 1st, this errata can take place, which means we're getting, which means by the transitive property, we get Wingal Brave on June 1st, which is a set 4 card. Therefore, we get set 4 on June 1st, which is nice. You know, people want Dote to be here already, right? But if we get the nerf as well, that'd be kind of sucky. But it's also possible that we get this set and we don't get the nerf. That's totally possible. And then the third thing is, like I've already said it, is we could get the cards and get the nerf on June 1st whenever it releases. Even if it's not June 1st, we could easily get the nerf when it releases, because if you guys were paying attention to the Amber Dragon nerf and how that kind of was dealt with, we have the same patch numbers as JP does in terms of our codes in the game and in the data of the app. So that means that the nerfs will exist in both at the same time when they launch. So there's no reason to suspect that they won't just carry it over to English as well. So these nerfs could be taking effect in June 1st as well in JP. Now, as of right now, it's only the Japanese server, but that could easily change on the release of set 4. We don't know. I'm hoping that it's not effective June 1st or whenever the set comes out, because I would like to play with MLB at like the height of its power in Zero for at least a month. And I'm sure a lot of you guys would too. But I also do understand where they're coming from in trying to limit the deck. Like, I'm not mad at this decision. I'm not the biggest MLB fan in terms of playing against it. I'll have fun playing it, but I won't have really any fun playing against it. So I can definitely understand where this decision came from. I think it's actually really good for the game. Same thing with the Tejas one. I don't think Tejas is actually that bad, because I feel like Kagero loses the least out of this. Like, they don't really care. Like, Tejas was a card that you played because it was busted. Now that it's not busted, you just don't play it anymore, and it doesn't affect your strategy. It lets you play more cards like Strike In, Bellicosity. You can even play Flame Edge now and try and like cheese a really early cross ride with Overlord and the Soul for Dote. That's pretty cool. I'll talk more about like how these decks interact with each other, like why they're so busted and stuff like that in the future when I do my set 4 meta analysis video. But for now, just know that these 2 decks were probably going to be the top tier decks for like the next 2.5 months easy. If we didn't get set 6 and set 7 released super fast, and even then still the best decks. So yeah, I definitely understand where they're coming from. While I might not like these nerfs because they affect 2 decks that I want to be playing, I'm definitely okay with them. I'm definitely fine and content, and I don't think they're actually going to ruin the game. If you're a diehard MLB player out there and you wanted to play it, you know, day 1, it'd be the most busted deck possible. have it in your mind right now that that might not be the case. Now, this is all speculation, right? We have no clue what the English meta is going to be like, but based on what we've had happen previously with the Amber Dragon nerf, I think it's a safe assumption to assume that it might happen, right? Let's hope it doesn't. We'll know more when it actually happens. So I don't want anyone out there to actually worry about this and like stress out about it. You won't really know anything until the cards come out. So don't worry about that at all until the cards come out. And when they do come out, worry about it then, right? That's when like worrying now really doesn't do anything, but understanding now does a lot for you guys, which is why I'm making this video. So guys, that'll be it for this really raw video. It'll probably be like 10-15 minutes max, no edits, really sloppy, lots of stutters. I apologize. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Let me know your guys' thoughts. And yeah, guys, be sure to work hard, rest easy, and live well. I've been your True Champion, Steven. Happy playing.